Hi, everybody. Hello. It's been such a long time. If you're new here, welcome. Hello. My name is Andrea, and you've reached Knit LA, which is another knitting podcast. Yes, I'm a kind of obsessive lately knitter, living in Los Angeles, and knitting has just really exploded for me since returning from a summer holiday, and yeah, I'm just happy to be back. Every day this week I said to myself, okay, you're gonna film today, and the day would go by and it wouldn't happen. And there are some very good reasons for that, some of which I will share maybe at the end because it's a little more chit-chatty. Anyway, I hope everybody is well and healthy. I hope you have something to drink and a project, because I have this weird feeling this is going to be really long, although we'll see. I'm also attempting to edit this video, and by editing, all I mean is inserting photographs, because I think it's high time I learn how to do that. So anyway, I'm so glad to be here, and I really do miss you all so much. All the, excitement and swirl around Flock this year was really fun to observe. I was there last year, but I couldn't go this year, but it looked really wonderful and cozy and very beautiful. I was on my trip to France, and it was incredible. And if I'm able, I will definitely include some photographs at the end. Although I was posting fairly regularly on Instagram, so hopefully some of you caught up. This is what I was making on my trip. This is, I'm sure, a very recognizable item to most of you. This is the Shift, or I think it's just called the Shift. It's the cowl version of all the Shift patterns. There's a sweater, there's a shawl which I've made, and this little cowl which I am in love with. So let me take it off. It's actually really hot, but I didn't want to show up without a knitted object. So this is it. And it's just used, I used like just little scrappy bits of Spincycle. Actually, there's one non-Spincycle, but it didn't really get used that much. And it's this funny shape that I've never really understood, but now that I've actually made one, I only want to make these now. I think they are so versatile and can be worn alone, can be worn obviously with a jacket. So I think this is an amazing piece. And I know most people do, because there are so many that have been made, so many beautiful versions on Ravelry. So if you haven't made this, and you certainly don't need to make it with Spincycle, I used, leftovers from on the Nocturne base. I think that's the original yarn used. Well, I'm not actually 100% sure. I think so. And I did not follow the pattern in terms of when to switch colors or anything, or which color is A, which color is B. I just sort of did my own thing, and that worked out really well. I'm super happy with this, and I love the colors so much. So yeah, I'm gonna take it off though, because in LA right now it's like 90 degrees and we have the air conditioning on, and I waited until late afternoon to film, because hoping that the sun, would be on the other side of the house. So there also might be some glare. I noticed in my glasses, there's some glare. So I apologize for that. I'm not sure how to rectify that, nor do I know why it's suddenly happening. Maybe I'm just noticing it actually. Anyway, so I thought I would share some finished things in order that I finished them, in the order that I finished them. So I also took some photographs of me wearing all of these items that I was really hoping that I might insert here on this beautiful white square. So that is my hope, that is my dream. I think I got it. I think I figured it out. So I'm excited. Okay, so the first thing is something you have watched me work on, seen me work on, and that is, well, another Andrea Mowry pattern. And this is her striped sweater. Again, this is another like incredible stash project. So I just went into I have a very large stash bin and of like partially used skeins. So that is what I did. And I just kind of pulled what I wanted when I wanted. And this is the back. There's hair on it, of course. I did the method of knitting around, and I did the stripes. I knit one round in the new color and then lifted the right leg of the stitch below the one on the left needle, put it up there, knit them two together. I've tried so many different ways to do it, and for me, you know, this is the best one for me. And I think it's pretty good. So again, all these are completely all different like stash yarns. I know there's some very recognizable yarns, like this is from Sonder, this gorgeous like grayish blue. This is her linen wool base. And I think that's the only one I actually really recognize. But, oh, this is from my last year's MCAL with Stephen West. So all of these have been used somewhere else before. And that's kind of cool to like revisit them, even if in this very moment, I cannot remember what I used them for. I think I went with the suggested needle size. I made a size 3. And as you can see, I shortened the sleeves because all of a sudden I'm like, why knit sleeves? I mean, it's so hot here and I don't, there are days that I need really warm sweaters, but I have more sweaters than there are days like that in the winter. So I decided to make it short sleeve and, you know, probably will wear some cute like long sleeve, you know, fitted tee or something underneath them. So I really enjoyed knitting this. It was a blast. Very simple pattern. I would say for me, the only issue I had was the rate of increase was too much for me. And you can't really see it now because I have blocked it. But it was pretty ripply in the front. It has kind of blocked out, but I feel like when I'm wearing it, you can sort of see there's too much fabric there. So that's something I'm going to be more mindful of in the future. But striped sweater, Andrea Mowry, excellent pattern, tons on Ravelry as well. Okay, next. So I can't remember if I shared this last time. I might have shared it as a whip, but this is oh my God, this is like a very Andrea Mowry heavy episode. I didn't even realize that. Okay, it's funny because I don't usually gravitate towards her patterns, but all of a sudden I'm clearly making many of them. So this is the Thru Lines shawl. Pardon me. Ugh. Thru, Thru, Lines shawl. The original, I believe, was knit in Spincycle and something else. And I knit mine with a kit from Skein Yarn. And it is just the most scrumptious, gorgeous shawl. It's just, I can't even say enough about it. First of all, this is her Sportilicious blend, and it is the most comfortable, like, I don't know. It feels amazing against my skin. And, you know, it's interesting because I feel a little bit like, I don't know if the tide in me is turning or what is happening, but I'm finding myself less and less tolerant of certain, not all, for sure not all, certain kinds of like woolly wools are starting to kind of bug me, and in ways that they haven't before. So that's something that is new and I'm kind of trying to figure out. But having made something in superwash, I have to say, I mean, this is amazing. I loved making this pattern. I did it exactly to pattern. I practically used all the yarn with the exception of the palest yarn, which I think is called Tequila. But I don't even know if you can in the US shop from Skein Yarn anymore, with everything that's happening in the world and the US in terms of imposing tariffs, etc. I'm not even sure they're shipping right now to the US. But she is definitely one to watch, and there's so much inspiration there. And I will link all of the information for her website, her Instagram, etc. But this is heaven on earth. Like, I'm gonna wear this a lot. Oh, it's so nice. Okay, but I'm so hot. And these colors, I mean, she curated this kit. And I don't know if you can see the stitches, but they are so beautiful. They're like so textured. I thought her photos did not do it justice. I mean, these are like little, like, they look like little stars, like peeking out. It's lovely and it's engaging. And if you're looking for something delicious to make this fall, I highly suggest it. Okay. The next thing that I finished, and the reason I finished this, by the way, is because it is also short sleeves. I have been working on the Obsidian sweater by Tania, Barley. And this is a beautiful sweater. The sample was absolutely gorgeous. It was in a black, like coal black yarn with a white patterning all through the body. It's got an A-line shape. I made the 3rd size, and yeah, I made the 3rd size. I used a combination of yarns. I'm gonna try and get up close to see if you can see the, like, how pretty the yarn is. So for the body, I used a yarn that I got last year at Rhinebeck. Oh no, I'm forgetting the name of I'll put it down below. Anyway, it was one of my last stops, last barn, last, vendor, and they just had this beautiful wall of yarn, and I bought this. It's kind of a very oatmeal-ish base with these kind of whispers of lavender. And I just thought it was gorgeous. So I got a few skeins of that for a sweater. And then also that weekend, I had been to Cake Palooza, and Cake Wool Co. Alyssa had a big basket of like one of a kinds, which she said was just like her playground. And in it, she had these beautiful skeins that also had a lot of lavender and other colors sort of painted into it. But I thought they were beautiful. It wasn't like, I actually went to cake before I went to Rhinebeck, so I wasn't thinking of these as a pairing. It wasn't until I started really thinking about wanting to make the sweater that I was like, oh my God, I should make it with this. And this is a departure. It's really a departure. Like, everyone that knows me knows these are my colors, right? I mean, these are also my colors. Blue, even though, oh my God, I love the color blue. I don't know, I don't knit with blue very much. So this was also a skein. I had 2 skeins actually. I'm not sure how many skeins this took. I think it was just one. Yeah, of Nocturne. But I mean, isn't it stunning? I don't know. I was just really in the mood to knit something really creamy and light and gorgeous. So that's what I made. And I'm very glad I made the decision to keep it short sleeves. I think I'm gonna wear it a lot. And I'm definitely taking this to Rhinebeck, so you might see me wearing it over the weekend, which, by the way, I'm going to Rhinebeck. I'm so excited. Oh God, hot flash. I'm very excited, and I'm also going to attend Woolen Affair on Saturday, which I'm super excited about because I didn't go last year. I think that's the only satellite. Oh no, I'm also going to go to Indie Untangled, so that should be really fun. I didn't go to either of those last year, so I kind of just wanted to check them out. Okay, size 3, I sized down the needle. I think she recommends a 6 or a 7, and I think I used a 5 for this, or a 6. I can't remember, but I'll link everything to Ravelry, and I'll try and make sure that all the information there is updated. But if you never want to get bored knitting a sweater, might I suggest the Obsidian? And there are some really pretty versions on Instagram. And I'm knitting this with Jackie from Knitting a Good Yarn, and Hele from Danish Musings. So you might know them from YouTube. And yeah, so we all decided to knit the Obsidian. I don't think they know yet that I decided to make mine short sleeves. So if you're watching this, I'm making mine short sleeves. So let me tell you something else about the sleeves that is so cool. I hate sleeves, okay, like most people. And I was inspired by my friend, Jeannie, who now knits her sleeves 2 at a time, pretty much. And I really wanted to do that. And I knew it was gonna be short sleeves, so I figured it would be fine. And that is exactly what I did. And I found this really simple tutorial that made it crystal clear how to set up your needles. I'll link that below. And honestly, it's like knitting 2 at a time socks. It's easy, especially when you're doing stockinette and ribbing. I mean, it's nothing. So that was exciting because I think I'm gonna start employing that skill as often as possible. Now, there are all kinds of like shape differences that you could make. I did omit the sleeves, which is not suggested in the pattern. The color work goes all the way down the sleeves, and there's an option for like a really beautiful blousey sleeve that cinches in at the wrist, which is gorgeous. And I chose the A-line. And I'm so glad I did, because it's just like a swingy little cutie pie. So that's the Obsidian sweater by Tania, Barley. I will link everything down below. I'm really excited to talk about this next sweater because, and these next two sweaters actually, I think, are kind of shifting my direction a little bit in terms of knitting and my knitting, what I want to knit. So I shared on Instagram, which some of you might have seen, that I made a sweater, basically, that I used a photograph that I saw, and then I figured out, just from lots of other patterns in terms of like numbers and things like that, how, just how to go. So the turtleneck was definitely inspired by my my gorgeous Filcolana sweater from last Rhinebeck, which the name's escaping me right now. You guys, I am so sorry that I keep like touching my face. I'm wearing lip gloss, which I notice a lot of podcasters wear lip gloss. I've like never worn lip gloss in my life, and this is why. I didn't even think about it. My hair is sticking to my face, so I apologize, but that's why. Okay, so some of you might remember that gorgeous turtleneck that I knit. It was a very dark green, and it was made with Farmer's Daughter fibers, the spinster's daughter, and her Oh Dang DK, and it was an absolute delight to knit. And one of the things that really attracted me to that sweater was this just beautiful collar that seemed to like frame the face just beautifully. So I knew I wanted that, and this was the way the sweater looks. So so I created this out of like a really heavy cashmere that from Pearl Soho. They have a DK weight cashmere, and I just did 1x1 ribbing, and I wanted it to be heavy because I wanted it to stand up like this. And then the rest of the sweater, very interestingly, goes into the yoke using ribbing that increases. So it goes from like 1x1 ribbing to 2x2 ribbing. All the while, you're also using a completely different weight, because it appeared to me that it was a really light fabric. So this kind of peach section here, right, all here is different skeins of Jameson and Smith, which I had from an old kit for a hat I bought a long time ago, I think even during COVID, and I never made it. So, but I had a lot of colors, so I was able to kind of color match with the original sweater, which, by the way, I have no idea who designed that sweater. It looks as handmade as this does, so I'm not really sure. Anyway, so I use that. I know people love Jameson and Smith, that Spindrift, the 4-ply, but I don't think I could ever wear that yarn. I mean, it's very scratchy. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure it's meant to be warm, right? Obviously, it's like a Shetland yarn. So anyway, I used it for the yoke. It's not going to be a problem. I will always wear a camisole or a shirt underneath this. And then the very cool, I don't even know if you can see how translucent this brown section is. This, you can kind of see the light is kind of coming through. So this was also mimicking the section it looked like mesh lace. And I had some spinny from Isair that was in this dark chocolate brown color. And I had bought the skein to use as a support for another yarn, and I wound up not using it. So I had it and I was like, this looks like the photo, so I'm gonna try it. Meanwhile, I did not change the size of the needle. Okay, so I'm using all of these yarns at the same gauge. It's just it's just changing the texture of each band of the yoke. It's just getting looser and lighter, etc. But the spinny is 100% wool. It's like a wool lace. It's pretty incredible. Like, I would definitely consider using this as a support for like a Nutiden sweater, or, you know, even with like mohair, because alpaca, because it really gives structure. I mean, somehow, and I have some photographs that I'm going to insert, I hope, of me wearing this, but you can see it doesn't flop. It's just it's great. And then the body, I knew it was going to be dark brown because that's the photo, and I do not have a shortage of dark brown yarn. So this is a 100% alpaca that I got from, was it the little shop in that little town where Cake Bowl took place? Where is that? Not Kingston. Something in T. Anyway, I'll link it below. So they sell these massive skeins of pure alpaca wool, undyed. And this was like the darkest brown that they had at the time. So this is one strand of that alpaca, and I held it with Knit Picks palette, also in a beautiful brown color. I think it's called Bison. And I just held those two together. I didn't want pure alpaca for the reason I mentioned previously, which is that it just seems to like hang. And I wanted structure, so I used the 100% wool from the Knit Picks palette, which worked out great. So I think this is my favorite sweater I've ever made. And I'm not saying that lightly. And you've probably heard me say that 100 times on this podcast. But there is something so special to me about, well, first of all, just knowing now I have these skills or the know-how to interpret something I see that I love and make it for myself. This, again, it looked very handmade, the photo I saw, and there was no designer or nothing like that. So, but I just loved it so much. And there was just something, I don't know. It just was like a deep experience because I made a sweater that I exactly wanted. So, and I kind of was able to translate it. And it's actually not that hard, which is like a whole nother subject. But, you know, anyway, I want to share that one of the tools that I did use was like the Google AI, because I wasn't sure the best rate of increases for the yoke. I knew the stitch count I wanted to get to, but I did not know how to place that within the round. And I just typed in Google how decrease rate from this number of stitches to this number of stitches in knitting, and it basically calculated the entire thing. So it told me like every third row decrease by blah, 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 evenly around, or whatever, or increase rather by da, 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 da. And it works for decreasing as well. So that is a powerful tool, because I think it's really things like that you know, designers have to work hard on figuring out what that rate of increase is, or had to work hard figuring out rates of increase for all these multiple sizes. And now you can just search it, and an AI comes up, as did a lot of other things, a calculator for increases and decreases, etc. So there's just so many resources, and it's just so exciting, because I felt like this is really what I want to do. I just really want to make stuff that I like. I know that sounds very simplistic, but I mean, a lot of times I make things that I'm drawn to, like what I made that like beautiful king salmon light sweater, and that was a very fun project, and I will wear the hell out of that, you know, but I didn't like create it. I just followed a pattern. This feels very much me, like a true 100% reflection of me. And once I did this, well, that just kind of opened the floodgates. And I'm gonna show you a sweater that actually does start with a pattern. So I think this is called Spun Flora by Wool and Pine. This is a absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous color work design. Now I know they have another one that's even more intricate and goes farther down the body, but when I saw this, when it came out, I thought it was really gorgeous. So I decided to make it. And the yarn I used, this was another thing that inspired this sweater, because when I got back from my, no, not when I got back from my trip. I think did I start this when I got back from my trip? Maybe. Anyway, I have a big, giant, like duffel bag filled with Nutiden yarn. And for those of you that don't know, Nutiden is a Swedish yarn purveyor, and they create the most beautiful, colorful, rich, saturated, natural, unspun yarn. And this is the one that I chose to use for this sweater. I don't remember the name of it. If you are a Nutiden person, would you please put it in the comments below, because I didn't save the colorway. So I'm going to show you, because I feel like there have been more people exploring unspun yarn. So this is kind of what it looks like. And it can be sort of fragile, but the way that I knit with it, now in this case, because of the gauge, I actually used this double, which meant that I held 2 strands together and knit that way. I don't know where the other strand is. Anyway, knit with 2 strands held together, which gives it a lot more sturdiness, because this yarn can be very fragile. You can see here, it's like very, very fragile right there. But I want to say that no one should be afraid of unspun yarn. It is so much fun to work with. And I want to show you how I work with it. So I take yarn and I very slowly wrap it around my finger, and I just create lots and lots of balls of Nutiden, or whatever unspun you're using. And I just do it really gently, like it's such a gentle movement, and you can do it while you're watching TV, whatever, listening to a book. It's super chill. you know, and I keep going and I keep going and I keep going, and I basically wind it into a ball that's probably like the size of a tennis ball. And then I put it in a bowl, and then I make some more, and then I put them in bowls. And then when I'm knitting from them, I'm drawing from the bowl. And because the bowl is usually either like a wooden bowl or ceramic bowl, it just kind of like boops around. It's a really soft surface, so it doesn't catch the yarn on anything. And just the act of like winding it into a ball helps kind of, I don't want to say felt, but that's the only word I know. It gives it body. It gives it, not body, it strengthens the yarn itself. Because it's been touched, it's been in your hand, it's been wound into a ball. So it's got a little structure in that tennis ball shape. And then I just knit from there. So I did knit all the color work in Nutiden held double. Isn't this the most insane color? Oh my God. I have so much Nutiden, you guys. I'm vowing to use Nutiden. Like, I have to use my set. I cannot buy any more. And it's really hard not to. My main color is a new to me yarn that I'm really excited about. It's Junction Fiber Mill. They're making tracks. And this is called January Nights? Yeah, January Nights. This is really pretty purple, peach, pink. It's just really nice. And I had sent them a note because I really wanted like the kind of darkest skeins that they had. So they did. All the skeins came. I mean, of course there was tons of variation, but I was able to work with the skeins that had a lot of this dark purple. So I want to just show you kind of slowly. And then you can kind of see through the yoke that the yarn does kind of change a little, and then it comes to this like really pretty kind of pink color. And then once I had done the yoke, so no sleeves and no body, it was hanging on a hanger, and I blocked it, and my gauge grew. And I think it was because I held this double. I probably should not have done that. And I only swatched with this, which is a very thick DK. This says it's DK weight, but, oh, it says heavy DK. I mean, this is really, this could be a worsted very easily. So I was already kind of pushing it, but I had to go down a needle size. I tried to go down 2 needle sizes, and you know what? It did not change my gauge at all, which was crazy. So I don't know. I think I wound up with using a size 4 needle. And anyway, so once the yoke was finished, so just imagine this, just hanging on a hanger, and I was looking at it, and it was so gorgeous. I was just like immediately reminded of a sweater that I had seen somewhere that I think is coming out in the fall season. I do not know the designer. I do not know anything. It was like a flash photo in my brain of this beautiful runway sweater that had, it looked like a very thick yoke, thick little tight sleeves, and a cinched bodice. And it was all different kinds of yarn. It was knitted, all different stitches, whatever. But the shape, I guess, is what I saw when I looked at this yoke. And so, guess what I did? You can see what I did. I basically cinched in the waist by like I don't know, 8 inches. And I decided to do a 2x2 rib because I was a little nervous doing that. And there was absolutely nothing to be nervous about. It worked out beautifully. I have pictures that I hope are gonna show up. Anyway, so the waist is cinched in. 2x2 ribbing is phenomenal. There's so much stretch, but there's also so much stability. And yeah, And then I just did the exact same thing with the sleeves. I cinched them in. I calculated on Google the rate of decreases for both things, and I did them. And I did a 2x2 ribbing on the sleeve, and I just knit them for whatever, as long as I pictured them. And because the gauge was big, this kind of sat, it's very structured because of the Nutiden. So this is beyond my wildest dreams. And all of a sudden I was like, wait, I could take like any yoke. Because a lot of sweaters are constructed, to appeal, they're straight bodies, they're slightly A-line, they're long sleeve, there is kind of like established traditional styles. And what I got from knitting this gorgeous sweater is, you know what? I could do whatever the hell I want in my knitting. And this is one of the most incredible things I own. And I am so happy with it. I will definitely be bringing this to Rhinebeck. I just don't even know what to say. And I feel like this is also I'm saying to myself, okay, I love these designs that people come up with, but if you just tweak the material, you just kind of there's so much freedom to make it your own. I mean, if you're not a test knitter, which, I rarely am. And that's just so freeing and feels so good. And once again, could there be a more me sweater? I don't think so. I don't think so. Another thing I do want to say about Nutiden, and knitting with Nutiden, is that you really slow down. And I mean that in the best way. I'm just really carefully draping this over my hand. I'm really gently knitting. And I don't mean like it's it's so frail, but I mean I'm just slow. I'm attentive to my stitches. I love working with wooden needles, and this sweater, pretty much everything I made with wooden needles, I think. I love chiaogu too, but I feel like I'm really knitting a lot with wooden needles. And I don't know what that is, but it's just soft and natural and doesn't get sticky. Sometimes I find with the chiaogu, some of the unspun can feel kind of sticky. I don't know if anyone else has had that experience. It's just slow and focused, and then as you're building this design, this color work, filling it in, it doesn't even look, I don't know if you can see how dimensional that is, but the Nutiden color work is more dimensional than, say, the main color yarn. And so it also creates this incredible texture. So, just all these things that make that make our knitting so super special. And I feel like I'm really at this point now where I want to make things really for me, the things I'm really going to make. So I feel like, I don't know, the lid's off the pot, you know, and I'm just like excited. So those are all my finished objects, which that was a lot. It's already been 45 minutes. Oh my God. I'm gonna have a little sip. Cheers. Guys, do you know what I've been drinking all summer? First of all, we started buying cranberry juice. I don't even know why we started buying cranberry juice. We have never had cranberry juice in this house. We started buying cranberry juice, just the plain. And then we started adding a can of Spindrift. And like, this is the most refreshing, delicious drink. And I probably drink 2 of these a day, in addition to lots of other water. But oh my God, it's so good. It's so good. And it's tart. It's just like, okay. So now I would love to share some whips because, you know, that's how it goes. I guess I'll show you like the oldest whip to the newest whip. Yeah. Okay. This is in this gorgeous redesigned bag. I know everybody has these now, but I got this a while ago, but I don't think I ever shared it. And I do want to say, I am in no way affiliated with this brand, but this is the Stephen West shawl, and it's massive. And I just think this bag is it's so well designed. Okay, let me see. Well, unfortunately, it looks like I'm in the midst of a row. This is what I'm working on, and I am trying to haul ass on this because the M cowl is coming up. Oh my God, it's so big, you guys. It's just so big. Let me turn it this way. Okay, so this is the shawl. It's so gorgeous. This is called Gossamer. Oh God, it is stunning. This was also a stash dive. Hurrah. And, oh shit. Excuse my language. I just popped out a bunch of stitches. This was also a stash dive, a mohair stash dive. And there's mohair in here from Sonder yarn, from, what else? I think there's even some drops that I wanted to try. Let's see. Oh, there's Explorer knits, this absolutely amazing, like hand-dyed, greenish, brownish. I'm really sorry, everyone, but if I don't do this, it's like gonna be history. Okay. Anyway, I really feel like this is one of the prettiest shawls I've ever made, and I want to see it through. So I am on my last repeat of bubbles. And then I can move on to the border, which is like a chevron border. So that is what I'm making. Here are some of the yarns. This is the Explorer Knits, which is so pretty. It's got like all kinds of incredible colors in there. I'm using a lot of Sonder. Actually, I think it's mostly Sonder. Here we go. No? Yes. So I'm using these 3 Sonder yarns. Her beautiful mohair base. Yeah, so I'm just plugging along, and I have this idea that I might be able to finish before the M cowl, but I'm not sure I will. Like, I don't even think I will. But there are just so many stitches, this point. But I really love it, and even if I had it for the winter, I will be happy with that. So that is Awesomer Gossamer by Stephen West. What else? Okay, I'm making a baby blanket, which I shared, I think, the beginnings of the last time. I know this has a needle in it, so I'm gonna gingerly take this out and show you all. But I've made some progress. I don't even know if I can get the whole thing in the frame, but it's so pretty. It's really gorgeous. I am so enjoying making it, and I'm just thinking about that little bugger to be. This is my best friend's son's baby, first baby, and they found out that it's going to be a little boy, so I'm really hoping that they like these colors. I tried to kind of avoid, not that I am like a believer in gender specific colors at all, but anyway, I didn't know if they would use it if there was like pink in it. It's kind of sad, but it is what it is. I have used all kinds of scraps, and I'll show you my big bag of scraps. So this is also what I used when I was making the oh my god, when I was making the stripes. I have these bags full of wonderful yarns. And so again, I'm making log cabin. So my mom taught me how to log cabin ages and ages ago. I don't think I log cabin like other people log cabin because I don't, well, first of all, I like to bind off my rows. This is an example. I bind off my rows. So here's a bound off row. Here's a bound off row, which I guess does make for quite a few ends, but I'm kind of weaving in as I go, as I knit. And so what I do to construct, it's such a wonderful pattern. It is so much fun. I think it would be amazing to do like a log cabin with Nutiden, and I really want to. So anyway, you're just starting with a little square. That is the premise. It's just a square. And then you just add one, do, and you're just kind of like going around. You're going to make a square eventually, a big square. And there were some times when I didn't do straight across like one whole color. I was just like, I'm gonna break this up a little. And I'm not doing a sort of pattern of colors or whatever. It's more of a palette. And so, yeah, I'm really excited. It's so much fun to work on because I'm thinking about that baby, and I'm just, the baby arrives in the very beginning of November. So I think I'm in a good place. I'm trying to work on it every single week. So, you know, I want to get it done. They have a shower the weekend of Rhinebeck, so I'm not gonna be able to attend the shower, but I was kind of thinking, wouldn't that be amazing to have the blanket ready? So that's one of my whips. Okay. Another whip is from this gorgeous book that I've shared on here before, Kalevala Knitted Kalevala, I meant. This is a book from Lina Publishing, and I think this is just one of the most beautiful knitting books. It has all the patterns are kind of rooted in these like I don't want to say fables, but Finnish fables. All of them use Finnish wool. And I want to make almost every single pattern in this book. I will show you the one that I started because it is so pretty. Okay. This is it. It's a cardigan, which I don't even think I've knit. I've knit like 2 cardigans. This is called Raudan Synth. I'm probably saying that incorrectly. Here's the name. Anyway, I am very happy to be knitting this in Nutiden. So, and I can even show you. Here's my bowl. I didn't know this had the bowl in it. This is knit. At first, you're knitting back and forth. Where's the front? I think this is the front, yeah, where the steek stitches are. This is gonna be my first steeked pattern, which is pretty exciting. Isn't this yarn just so gorgeous? There's a lot going on in this yarn. So here's one of my balls that I created. And I'm using this single stranded with this Knitting for Olive in Bordeaux. I wanted a light fabric, and I also really wanted to stretch the Nutiden as far as I could go because this color is just incredible. And there's so many like treats and surprises in this yarn. Like there'll be like a little bloop of hot pink or orange, or you know, it's really fun. So also steeking. So I've never steeked before, as I mentioned. And if this is what steeking is, you're adding like 4 little purl stitches so that you can knit in the round. I mean, what? That's all? That's steeking? Why was I so scared of steeking, is what I'm saying to myself. Anyway, I already made a sleeve. So this is made in, you know, these pieces. So you do the body, you knit each sleeve, which was great because I was able to knit like a gauge swatch out of the sleeve. And it's a textured fabric, which is just really cute. I mean, it is so much cuter than just plain stockinette. And when I tell you, it's like 1 purl bump every so often. I mean, that's what it is. But it just made such a cute fabric. It's just so nice. So here's my sleeve. I hope you can see the real color. I don't know. It's a really deep color. I also don't know the name of this color, which is awful. Okay, and this is how it comes in these beautiful plates of wool. This might have the color on it. It does. I don't want to say it because I don't know how to say it. Anyway, it comes in these plates. I wind up lots and lots of these balls and put them in bowls. I also store some in here. I've got a few in here. So this yarn is really pretty fragile. So I've actually been making smallish balls. Smallish balls. That sounds weird. Anyway, this is the way to go with Nutiden. And then here is the Knitting for Olive skein, which is really pretty, which I bought from La Mercerie. It's in the color Bordeaux. Did I say that? Okay. So I'm thinking about what my contrast color is, because once I get to the yoke, there's going to be this beautiful design of like feathers. I think it's feathers. And I'm really excited because I think I know what I'm going to do. And I think it's gorgeous. Of course I do. So in my stash, because one time I wanted to try this, is this Raudan Fivel. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. The white that they show in the photo is gorgeous, but I just kind of like want something else. So this is a contender, this Raudan Fivel, and I believe it's, I don't know that, well, the color only has a number, which is 22, but it's cute. It's super woolly. It's 50 grams, 100 meters per skein. I think those colors just look really amazing together. This was also kind of a possibility. I got some of this beautiful knitting for olive mohair, and I believe this is called burnt orange, and I thought, how beautiful. I mean, it's basically the same color. But I had this idea of like just holding the mohair, like just doing mohair. So something in that realm is gonna happen. But I just think this kind of burnt orange color with this dark blackberry color is really beautiful. So that's what's going on there. Okay, I have one more whip to share. And then I wanted to share some stuff from my trip. I'm really sorry this is so long. I think this might be the longest video I've ever recorded, but I had to pounce. I did like seize the moment, you know? Anyway, this is a pattern that I've had in my library for a year, maybe. And it is called Nulatto Sweater by Nutiden. Nulatto Sweater. And it's a full cabled sweater, but a very gentle cable. And, you know, I just was like, well, maybe I feel like doing a cable. I think what really got me going is that I wanted to use this yarn because I got this yarn last year. This is Better Breakfast worsted from Bare Naked Wools, which is just by far one of my most favorite yarn makers ever. And she works with lots of natural wools, and part of her Barn Box subscription, which is bi-monthly, and every month we get something more beautiful than the previous month. And it's all new to me. And Anne also does an amazing thing where she hosts a Zoom where she kind of talks about the origin of the sheep, the history of the wool, like all this stuff, and it's super interesting. So this Better Breakfast, which I've used their fingering, this is their worsted. It's 225 yards, 115 grams. It's 2-ply. It is 65% merino and 35% de-haired alpaca. And when I tell you, it is like the softest, bounciest, squishiest. I mean, oh my God, it is so soft. So I really want to use it, and I was looking through the patterns I already own, and I decided on this one. So this is just an all-over cable sweater. It's really chill. You start with the back panel, which also serves as a wonderful swatch. I started with the called for needle, but it was way too big. So you can probably see that I changed needle sizes, like I think right after the first set of cables. And I blocked twice, so there are like 2 rows of blocked cables, and then the rest are kind of like smushy, which I don't know which one I like better, if I'm being honest. I love these squishy cables. Anyway, it's super simple. I'm at the point now where I'm going to be picking up, this is the back, I believe. I'm going to be picking up here to do the shoulder, picking up here, do the shoulder, and then the front, and then join in the round. This feels amazing. Amazing. I think there are only 2 sizes in this pattern. It's really oversized. Hang on. Boop, bitty boop. Okay. Okay, what size am I making? I don't know. Never mind, I have no idea. I think I'm making the small medium, so I think it's only like small medium, medium, large, XL. Like it's a not the best, but it's very large. And I've seen the projects on Instagram, and you know, people who might have usually choose to knit like a large, knit the small. So it's very drapey, it's very yummy, and I'm excited to have this as part of my wardrobe. Oh my God, it's just so pretty. I knit cables with a needle because I just feel like that works well. I'll show you. This is the oldest cable needle on the planet. It's just this little plastic guy, and here's my beautiful springy squishy wool. Anyway, and it's living in this gorgeous bag by Whiskey and Wool. I love this bag. Okay, those are all my whips. They're not really all my whips. Those are my active whips. I love this distinction, active whips. So those are my active whips, and I'm really enjoying all of them. And it's just nice to be able to have something to choose from. Because I don't know, I'm a person that just really, it's hard for me to stay just with one thing. Although I did knit my shift. I knit my shift in France, and that was like almost, I think I did 2 rows of a sock in the car once. Otherwise, I made this entire thing in 2 weeks, and I read a book. I'm really proud of myself. By reading, I mean I held this giant book in my hand and I read it. So I wasn't knitting. Oh, here are my socks. I forgot about my socks. Oh no, this is not my socks. These are not, I'm not gonna, no. Next time. Okay, so I went to France. We started in Paris. We rented an apartment in the Mowry district, which is my favorite part of Paris. It was my favorite part of Paris like 20 years ago, and I can confidently say like this is where I'd always want to stay. It's just so old and so like rich in history. It's just a beautiful, beautiful part of the city, and you can get anywhere very easily. We did tons of walking. The metro is so easy to access. Yeah, I didn't get a ton of stuff, but I do want to share what I got because I was so excited to be able to shop La Bien-Aimée in France, hand select these skeins of my choosing. That was like so exciting. I went to a shop that I was recommended, called Lil Weasel, and it was in a beautiful marché, and I got these 2 skeins of Alix, which is a very, very lovely, gorgeous base. that they make. It's a lace weight, and it is 710 yards, 70% Falkland Merino, and 30% Suri alpaca. It makes a beautiful halo. And I love it so much. Wait, no, this was not from Lil Weasel. Uh-oh. This is from a different shop. That was in, oh my God. My brain. I'll have to mention in the comments below where I actually got this. This was in a different town, a bigger town. Also a gorgeous, tiny little yarn shop. And they had a beautiful wall of La Bien-Aimée. This is what I got at Lil Weasel. This was like my first purchase. And this is La Bien-Aimée. And this, I mean, the color is what like drew me in, because it's just this like rich green, all the greens, the browns. Like, look how dark that is. It's really, really gorgeous. This is the Cashmere Merino, and I believe this is a DK weight. Oh no, maybe it's fingering. 474 yards per 100 grams. I guess that's more of a fingering weight. It feels really plush, so 75% merino, 15% cashmere, 10% nylon. The color is evergreen forest. And oh my God, you guys, it's so pretty. It's so pretty. So this was my first purchase. And then I also, from the same shop, got this beautiful skein. And this is from Life in the Long Grass. And this is called Synth. And it's their fine sock yarn. And it's 465 yards. I don't know how you can, if you can see it, if you can see the colors well, but I could not resist this. I mean, these aren't even really my colors, but I couldn't resist. I think maybe, I don't know, like summer, it's summer. I mean, these are just delightful. Unfortunately, the MCal doesn't really use variegated yarn. So I'm kind of bummed about that. It uses more tonal. I mean, of course you can use whatever you want, but I think I'm gonna stick to that format of like more tonal. So I have no idea what I'm going to be using these beautiful things for, but I'm just excited to figure it out. Let's see. Oh, and then this is not from France. This is not from France, but I do want to share it. It's another Bare Naked Wools yarn that I recently received. I really hope that the color is coming out as dark and as deep as it truly is. This is called Black Welsh Mountain Worsted, and they don't have this on the regular. This is like super, super special. And I got a sweater's quantity. I cannot wait to knit with this. I just cannot wait. It's, oh, yeah, this color is in nature. It's like the deepest, darkest, yeah. Fudge brownie, they're calling it. They basically get the wool in batches. And so, you know, that's how they kind of do the lots. It's whatever the batch is. And they get this in periodically, but not regularly. So I decided I really wanted to get it. And I really want to make a sweater. So yeah. So the very last thing, I know if you're hanging on, I really love you and appreciate you. I'm barely hanging on. My dog's been asleep the whole time. This is a maker that I've wanted to bring up a few times and I just keep forgetting, which is my bad. I'm going to show you this beautiful ring of stitch markers. There are all kinds of just absolutely beautiful, beautiful things. There are like modern charms, there's like stones, there's even, look, personalized, an A. This is from Bed of Roses, and the owner is so lovely and so sweet, and she actually recognized me when I placed the order. This was many months ago. And so we started chatting. Her shop is on Etsy. I will link it for everyone. We started chatting and she asked if I would be interested in collaborating with her on something really special. And I said yes. So we are currently discussing what that's going to be. I have an idea. She likes the idea. And so it will be a cowl. It will be a knit along. And it won't come until December. So it's not happening anytime soon. But I'm really excited. And I haven't used any of these stitch markers because I want to when they arrived, I was like, this would be the coolest necklace, especially because it's my initial. So I'm waiting on some leather cord. I'm gonna try making a necklace out of it. It sounds so silly, but they are so pretty. Anyway, I just think these are so, so beautiful and really special, really special. And I will link her shop below. She's also so sweet and we've just had the best conversations, messaging, because that's kind of the new norm, right? I've made so many friends that way. Anyway, okay, I think that's everything. I don't think I can talk anymore. I will just briefly, for those of you that want to leave, go ahead. I love you. I love you if you've even stayed this long. But I just want to chat a little bit about just part of the reason why I have been absent, other than my trip and other than it being school starting again, and I have 2 high school students. I had a very big health scare, and it was actually detected during an annual PAP. So it's so important to get your annual PAP smears. I am in menopause, but anyway, my PAP came back abnormal, and the abnormalities were really kind of scary. So I had to have something called a cone biopsy, which is a procedure to find out if these bad cells have permeated the cervix, or God forbid, anywhere else. And fortunately, my results that I got back literally like a week before we were ready to go to France, it had not shown that it had progressed and that it was actually just on the surface of the cervix, which was great news, amazing news. So I was able to go on my trip. I had the most incredible trip. I felt so in the moment and so present during every minute of my trip. I posted photos on Instagram, but I wasn't on Instagram. I checked out completely. And that was very healthy and very good for me. I know everybody knows how upsetting what is happening in the United States. Just beyond upsetting. It's cruel. It's illegal. It's immoral. It's corrupt. And I was free from all of that. Sorry. I was free from all of that, which, you know, I feel like everyone is carrying around now. I mean, everyone is carrying around with a lot of fear and stuff like that. I was light as a feather, and I was able to enjoy and appreciate. We saw so much art. We saw, I mean, just the architecture alone, when you're just walking from one place to another place, it's so beautiful, and it makes you feel like you're really in a place that cares about itself, and it's cared so much for the history and the art, you know, the buildings and everything. So that was such a healing, nourishing place to be. And after we were in Paris, we went south to the countryside, to an area that I had never been in, just pretty close to Aix-en-Provence, which is this beautiful area, bigger town, city maybe. We stayed really off the beaten path. We explored all these tiny local villages. We had lots of time to relax, to read, to be together. My mom went, my sisters went, so there were 8 of us, and we just had such an incredible time being together. And I felt so grateful to be with all the people that I love so much, and everyone's healthy, and you know. So the trip was amazing, and when I got back, I knew that I had to have a surgery, which I'm not upset about the surgery. It's just like surgery. For those of you that don't know, I had breast cancer 7 years ago, and I had a big surgery then, a double mastectomy, and that was a huge healing experience. It took a long time. It was very uncomfortable. So surgery, that's my only surgery. And so I just was like, ugh. Also, I was having a hysterectomy, which, you know, and an ovectomy, I think that's what it's called. Ovectomy or something, where they take out their ovaries. I know this is like TMI, but because I'm imagining most of you are women, and probably most of you around my age. If you're younger, you've got to get annual checks. I mean, just do it. Like, you're never too young, okay, to see the gynecologist, in my opinion. Anyway, I had my surgery, and it went beautifully. I had the most incredible team of doctors. They were all female, all young, incredible, brilliant doctors. It was laparoscopic, robotic surgery, which means my surgeon basically operated a computer while this these robot arms made teeny incisions all around my belly. Like, I think there are 5 incisions, and done. That was it. I came home. I slept for like 20 hours. Other than just some tenderness and like a little bit of swelling at the incision marks, I haven't taken any painkillers. I have not even taken Motrin or ibuprofen, any of it, which I think is just the miraculousness of science and technology progression. Because when my mother had her hysterectomy, they cut her belly open. And that meant that her recovery was just a beast. My recovery, I was up walking around. Like, I was completely, I mean, not completely fine, but, you know, I was not bedridden. And I guess part of the reason I'm also bringing this up is that it's so upsetting to think that there is someone who is in charge of national health who wants to trash science, trash the research, cancer research, doesn't believe in vaccinations, which is, to me, and I'm speaking very generally, okay? If you have a child with a certain sensitivity, obviously, like, you're not gonna get vaccinated. But how the heck did we get to this point? Because everyone is vaccinated, because there is no polio, because the chickenpox can be vaccinated against, because diseases, cancer. Okay, my cancer, by the way, this is a lot of TMI. My cancer was caused by dormant cells in my body for over, I want to say, approximately 30 plus years. And this is one of the things that now young people, boys and girls and whoever, are vaccinated against. There's an HPV vaccine, and it actually prevents cancer. So that's incredible. I don't know of any other vaccine that is actually targeted to cancer. I'm not a doctor or anything, and if there is, I'd love to know if you know. So when I think about, anyway, the threat that exists currently, it really scares me. It scares me deeply, deeply. So I'm lucky to be living in an age where I can still access this care. I'm in a big city. I'm in a state that is fighting like hell to try and protect a lot of our democratic processes. So I know that I am in a different situation than a lot of people. I totally recognize that. And I'm very grateful, however crazy it sounds, to have robotic laparoscopic hysterectomy surgery. Okay, that is my story. That's my story for now. It's been a long time, and I really hope that we can cross paths soon. Please tell me if you're going to Rhinebeck. I'm so excited. I'm so excited to get to meet my social media friends in person. I love that so much. If you see me, please don't be shy. I mean, I'm shy. If you see me, I hope you'll come and say hello. And I might have one more video before going, but yeah, I'd love to meet you. I'd love to shake your hand. I'd love to hug you if you're comfortable with that. Anyway, I'm sending all my love and my very best wishes. And thank God, thank goodness, for our salve of knitting. I think we're so lucky. Anyway, all the best.